Hey everybody, it's Dr. Osgood here with Grassroots Functional Medicine. Today I wanted to put together a quick presentation to help you understand a little bit more about Lyme disease. Lyme disease is growing at epidemic proportions within our community, contributing to a lot of health-related complications. It's a problem that we see frequently in our clinic, not only in New England, but also in Texas. According to the CDC, Lyme disease is the fastest growing vector-borne infectious disease in the United States, primarily transmitted by the deer tick, Ixodes scapularis. The disease can also be transmitted in utero from mother to baby as well. The causative organism of Lyme is Borrelia burgdorferi. What's tricky about Borrelia is the fact that there's 5 known subspecies of Borrelia and over 100 strains in the United States alone, over 300 strains worldwide. This allows the bug to evade the immune system, making it very difficult not only to detect but to treat as well. The number of cases reported annually has increased since 1982 by 25-fold. And in 2015, the CDC actually revised their statement. Originally, they were saying there were 30,000 annual cases of Lyme a year. Now they're saying there's over 300,000 annual cases of Lyme a year in the United States. This is not a new bug. In fact, several years ago, they uncovered an Iceman from the Alps over 5,300 years old, and they found this guy to have the DNA of Borrelia burgdorferi. And what's interesting is this guy didn't die from Borrelia. They found him with an arrow in his back. So what we know is that people can live with this bug, but something has changed recently, making us more susceptible to having more serious health-related issues because of this organism. And I think a lot of it has to do with our environment and our immune system deteriorating from all the things we expose it to. This is how a good schematic of how Lyme disease is transmitted. So an adult female will lay eggs. One thing to note is that when these eggs hatch, they actually don't have Lyme. They have to pick it up from another host. So the larvae that hatch attach to another host, usually mice or rodents, and they pick up Lyme, and then they will either mature into nymphs or adults, and somewhere along that path, after they initially get it from the rodent, they'll transmit it to either an animal or to a human. So it's a pretty interesting process how this all unfolds, but it's important to know the details. And another thing to note is that ticks are cesspools of junk. So not only do they have Lyme disease, but they can also have a whole host of other co-infections that can cause a lot of health-related issues as well. This is another schematic showing the same thing, the progression from eggs to larvae to nymphs to adults, and where and when it gets transmitted along the way. And this is a picture of the black-legged deer tick. This is the known culprit that transmits Lyme, specifically here in New England and also in the southern states. It not only does it transmit Lyme, but it transmits other co-infections like babesiosis, anaplasmosis, Borrelia miyamotoi, Bartonella, and a whole host of other bugs you gotta pay attention to and be careful of. This is an American dog tick, another common tick you may run into, well known for transmitting Rocky Mountain spotted fever and tularemia. And these are the different life stages of the Lone Star tick, known to transmit ehrlichiosis, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and starry borreliosis. And then we've got the brown dog tick. This can also transmit Rocky Mountain spotted fever, not as frequently in humans as in animals, but it can happen. So what tick is it? This is, may run into a whole host of different ticks, so how do you differentiate one tick from another? So one of the first places you want to start is actually with the scutum or the shield. Now, as you can see in the black-legged tick, you've got a very solid appearance here. It's a black, solid scutum, whereas with the Lone Star tick or with the dog tick, you're going to have, a variation in color and a specific pattern to pay attention to. Another thing you can look at are the festoons. So on the back border of the tick, you're going to see on the dog tick and on the Lone Star tick these grooves, and these are the festoons, whereas with the black-legged deer tick, you're not seeing these grooves. So that can also be helpful. When a tick is fully engorged, it makes it very, very difficult to differentiate. So these are the two things that you can pay attention to help you identify, what tick it is. So tick testing is another thing you want to seriously consider, no matter what type of tick it is, to help you understand not only the tick, but what organisms that it may be carrying to help shorten the duration of prophylactic therapy. So I hope this video was helpful and gave you a little insight about Lyme disease and where it comes from. I'm going to be doing a series of videos to help you understand a little bit more about what to do if you do become bit and how to differentiate acute Lyme from persistent Lyme and some treatments that I have found effective in my practice. But if you think you have Lyme disease or you need help with your treatment of any chronic illness, feel free to reach out. We'd love to partner with you on your journey to optimal wellness. We take a holistic approach and look at the big picture, and I'm really passionate about finding out why you're sick as opposed to just covering up the symptoms. So again, my name is Dr. Osgood with Grassroots Functional Medicine. I appreciate your time and have a wonderful day.